Okay, just a quick video. I say that every time, try to make them quick. This one's on organic versus mechanistic organizational structures. So, organic organizational structures are those that the hierarchy is kind of collapsed, at least in practice, where the status between someone that's a senior VP and someone who's lower, like a manager or an operant in the organization, an employee in the organization, are really smashed down. Everyone has access to everyone else in the organization, or to some extent. That's the goal. The reason to create an organizational design, organizational structure design, is because the more that you have people bumping into each other that have access to each other and access to the resources of each department, each functional area, and each level of the hierarchy, the more you're likely to create an environment where innovation and entrepreneurship sort of thrive. So in organizations like 3M or Google or something that are just really known for innovation, they need to create a structure that has the design elements of an organic organizational structure. However, over time, organizations, even those that start and really epitomize an organic organizational structure, tend to get more structure built into them over time, because a bureaucratic organizational structure is sort of the opposite, or it's mechanistic. It means mechanical. It means that the gears are fitting well together. It's designed with everything that has its place and it doesn't belong anywhere else. So a bureaucratic organization is one in which rules and procedures predominate. The concept of a bureaucratic organization was created by a guy named Max Weber. Weber's German, so it's Weber with a W. Max was looking at the German economy right around the time of the Industrial Revolution in Germany, several decades ago. And he was noting that the political elite were in leadership positions almost exclusively. The highest level leaders were people who were privileged. And he saw an obvious problem with that, mainly that those people were not the same people who had the greatest education or greatest storehouse of knowledge or the greatest skill sets or abilities, but just that they were the political elite. So in sort of response to that, he devised a system that would hire and promote the right person for the right job. And the right person for the right job, according to Weber, and I think is conventional wisdom today, of course, still, is that you'll have the right skills and abilities and knowledge for that particular job. So in order to accomplish that, we create job specifications. Job specifications are a set of what this candidate needs to have. Do you need to have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree? Do you need to have particular competencies, particular certifications, some number of years of experience in a particular area doing a particular thing? What makes sense? We start from the job specifications and create a job description. Job description describes the job in terms of those skills and how they're to be implemented in that workplace. Then we go and interview people, and we interview people based on those important criteria, not other criteria, not how rich you are, but how qualified you are for this particular position. And then once we hire people and put them in the proper place, then people are promoted in the same way. When you demonstrate you have the skills, knowledge, ability, and capacity for the next level of management, then you're eligible for it, but not because you know my rich neighbor or there's some kind of political favor going on, but it's based more objectively on what you can do and what you know, not who you know. And this creates a really good organization dynamic in many cases. The thing that is confusing for people sometimes is they think of a bureaucratic organizational structure as one that is filled just with red tape and hoops that you have to jump through that are unnecessary. And sometimes they are unnecessary. Sometimes the bureaucracy grows to the point where rules have so predominated the way we do things that you can hardly get anything done. Exceptions, by their very nature, are exceptions for a bureaucracy. They're not the rule. So if you're trying to do something innovative in a new way and it breaks rules for the organization, you're going to have a hard time accomplishing it. Where in an organic organizational structure, things are very flexible. You have access to people high up in the organization you can talk to about what you need to do or need to have in place to accomplish a particular task, or bring a new product to market, or work on some kind of collaborative project that's multifunctional with engineers and management people and accountants and whatever you need to get the job done. You can pull it together much easier in an organizational structure that's organic. So the biggest problem is that organic organizational structures become mechanistic over time. They become mechanistic because as you grow as an organization, it's harder to manage a large number of people than it is to manage a small number of people. So you need order and structure and rules and procedures to be efficient. So there's always this balancing act between the degree to which you needed to have an organic organizational structure and the extent to which your size necessitates that you're more bureaucratic or mechanistic. The words are kind of interchangeable. So that's something to think about as you look at organizational structure. You'll be faced with this probably kind of mid-career, but you can start paying attention to it right now in your workplace. What is our what characterizes our structure? And if you don't know, is it a fun practice and one that shows that you're an insightful person, go ask your managers and the people that you have access to around you. Ask them, are we more mechanistic or are we more bureaucratic, or I said that wrong probably. Are we more organic or are we more mechanistic? And if so, why? Is this purposeful, or is this a function of how we've grown, or is this not purposeful? Have we just become this? Those are good questions to ask. They show that you're insightful, and they're good questions to ask because the answer is important. I had a young student who had 2 internships, very high-paid internships, one at Google and one at Citicorp. Google's very organic, Citicorp's very mechanistic, and he returned a year later. He had 6 months internships with each of them, and I asked him, which one did you like better? And I thought for sure for a young guy he'd say Google, and he said Google was great. He went there first. I loved it, but I got to be honest, I think I probably like Citicorp better, simply because at Google I didn't know what my job was. I had access to people. It was fun. It was great. We did stuff, but I didn't really know what my output was supposed to be. It wasn't very clearly defined. At Citicorp, I knew exactly what my responsibilities were, and I could measure my performance very clearly. So that's just one example, but he really could identify the difference in 2 strong cultures, one organic and one mechanistic. So I challenge you to take a look at that in your own organization, or study some organizations, Google it, and take a look a little bit. You'll have a decision to make when you take a job. Organic, mechanistic. Thanks.